People say that every great story should have themes, arcs, and drama, but at the end of the day, every story is someone's fantasy. Everything I've ever been obsessed with feels like it comes from someone's own personal daydream. They've created a world that they wish existed. My universe and the story that I want to create is called Hatworld.
You're late and you got the wrong hat.
Hatworld is my own universe, part comic, part card game, part animated series maybe in the future. Every night I think about it to help me get to sleep, inserting myself as one of the characters. It could be described as grind fiction. If you know what this is, you know it's kind of a genre of media that has its own kind of graffiti-inspired, expressive, rebellious art style. Properties like Splatoon, Persona, Fooly Cooly, and of course Jet Set Radio. Being someone that has loved animation their whole life, this genre just is my favorite because it takes the potential of animation into its most explosive heights. These properties also just kind of have this theme of being free and taking life into your own hands. They kind of take the idea of just fun into its own kind of worldview and philosophy. A very simple idea, but something that's like kind of deep in its own way. And I love how the art styles and the way they move match this. In Hatworld, our hats suddenly start becoming alive little creatures, and when you wear them, they give you powers. Why? Who cares? What matters is what people do with their newfound powers and their newfound freedom. The city turns to chaos as more and more hats start to appear. What happens when everyone has powers and the city just goes mad? That's what Hatworld is about. This is my second video about it. If you haven't seen the first part, I'll put a link to it in the description below, along with any other videos that come out in the future. I'll have a playlist for Hatworld content. The first video is kind of an introduction to Hatworld. I have a prototype of the game, a little mock-up pack opening at the end, and some animations. And this one is going to go more deep into the world, the story, and the lore of this universe. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to the channel, like and share this video with anyone who you think might be interested too. Links to my Discord and my new Patreon are gonna be in the description below as well, so check those out if you want to support me. Today we're going to be going through the first Hatworld sketchbook. I'm going to be talking about the lore, the inspirations, and the kind of art style decisions for this world. And we're just going to be generally talking about what this world means to me and what I hope will get across to you. This is a special one, guys. I've been thinking about this a lot lately and I can't wait to have this video out. So strap in, this is going to be a special one. Let's do it. All right, here it is. This is Hatworld sketchbook numero uno. I want to do a bunch of these into the future and have them all kind of like a collection and a progression of all the lore and the like ideas behind Hatworld. I got the idea from Ichiro Oda. For One Piece, he has these crazy sketchbooks and notepads of like all the different aspects in his story. He'll have like a dragon book, or like a book about one certain character, or a book about a certain island, or a book about all of the skeletons in One Piece, and like different books for each like thing he has in his universe. I don't think I'll ever be able to do it to that degree, but I really want to have these like little physical collections of ideas, because doing everything digital kind of gets to me sometimes, so it's nice to have things like this. Got some stickers on the front that I made with my sticker maker, also something from an exhibition if you're wondering what this fleshwork one is. My friends at uni graduated and they did a show. But yeah, here's the book, obviously a Muji sketchbook. But yeah, let's get into it. First spread here, no refined drawings yet, but there are some in here. But yeah, we've got some like graffiti style logos here, quite like these. And we've got some first little bit of some lore ideas. So we've got a bit about the protagonist. He's a hairdresser, then uses the hair to catch hats, because hats, I haven't actually said it in any of these videos. I realized I didn't mention it in the first video. I said that in the card game you use hair as like a mana. But yeah, hats eat hair for power. So some of the strongest hat fighters are like bald because they just let their hats eat any of their hair to like power up. So it's like kind of like the opposite to Dragon Ball. When someone is stronger, their hair goes crazy, but in this you go bald. But yeah, I've got some different ideas for different like classifications for powers of hats. The best system for like an anime is Hunter x Hunter, with all its different like pathways of fighting abilities. So I really want to take inspiration from that as I develop. This wouldn't be a thing in the card game. This would just be a thing that some like smart characters kind of talk about when like battling with hats becomes more of like a sport and like a developed martial art. Some characters will have theories and kind of rules about what kind of attacker they are or what kind of magic they have. Some ideas here. So there's enhancers, things that enhance like things you already have, like strength, speed. Emitter, things you shoot. A rule setter, something that can like change reality. And transformer, that's like the Ben 10 stuff, like changing your body. Also some idea here for a villain, like Homelander of Hatworld. I love the boys. Here we go, we got some art here. I'm gonna censor one of these out because I want it to be a secret. I want some mysteries left for when this one day does become a webtoon or a comic. Support my videos so I can just live off this stuff and make a really cool story. Please share this with anyone you think will like it. What are hats? Aliens, spiritual creatures? Not sure yet. Here's an example of how a hat comes into be. It's something that a human defines as a hat by putting it on their head, and then it has like an energy, or it sparks the ability for it to become one of the alive hat creatures. Some more logo-y kind of stuff down here. A spike hat. I really want this one of the hats to be this like spiky creature that was once just this like cute little beanie like knitted by someone's like granny, and it becomes like this spiky mess. We've got rocket helmet here, some like little action poses of how Go would fly around with it. Some just random stuff here. I keep doing like little cube creatures. I love drawing cubes. Double week. This is just, I'm just putting down everything in a sketchbook, like really random ideas. In Hatworld, I want it to be that you don't have a 1 week cycle. Once you get to Sunday, you go into another week. Don't know why, but something in the story may make that happen. Yes, it's caused by like some magic change of people's memories, like in Rick and Morty when they go to a universe where they pronounce parmesan as parmesan, is it? So that would be something like that, like the rules of the way the world works gets changed by some like reality bending hat. And a side effect of that is that we have double weeks instead of regular weeks. Some more like sticker sheet to use for animations and stuff. Some ideas here about the crater. I want this like big fight to happen in Hatworld that creates a huge crater in the city. And in that crater, like kind of different stuff happens. It's got like radiation and electricity and fire, like every bad effect you can have like geographically and like chemically, it's just all in that one spot. Kind of like Punk Hazard in One Piece, that's like frozen and on fire and poisonous all at the same time. I just love, that's my favorite setting in One Piece, and I love that it came about from that fight between, what was it, Blackbeard and Ace. So I really want something like that in the past of Hatworld that kind of changes the story later on. I've got this idea as well. After that fight, one of the big powerful hats that was used in that battle gets out, and this little like neglected girl that her parents don't really take care of, or they kind of ignore her, don't notice that she's actually hiding it in her house. Like she kind of adopts it, and this mean, horrible, like really powerful hat kind of takes a liking to her, and she later on in the story becomes like one of the most powerful characters. I've got some drawings here. This is one of my favorites, this one here. There's a lot of tubes, a lot of cubes. I like kind of shapes. I really like this hat. I think it would do something like energy magic or something. Some kind of like levitation hat. This is the original. I talked about this in the first video, that the elements in Hatworld, like the types, are crocodile, banana peel, washing machine, and star. But I think I'm actually just gonna go a slightly more traditional route with this. I'll get into that maybe in the next video for the card game, because it plays into that. But I think this might be in like the lore or like the magical past of hats, or like if there's gods, that these elements would be like the main ones that everything comes down from. But for now, I had the card game basically powered off these 4 types, and it just wasn't enough types to make a working card game, and it was too vague. But yeah, I've decided to change that, but I really want to do something with these, like some kind of categorization in Hatworld is defined by these. Yeah, some like ideas about what eyes could look like in Hatworld. Should they be different to human eyes? Pokemon don't really have a set way of doing eyes. They have like a style and like a rule of what like Pokemon can have, and legendaries kind of get different detail levels in their eyes, and the kind of smaller, babier Pokemon have simpler eyes. So need to think about that. Yeah, just some random ideas. I had this idea for this guy that has like an ammo hat and a hat on top of it that has like, that uses weapons and guns, and then it like uses the ammo from the other hat to like use this combo of like infinite replenishing power. Some kind of like biker gang, engineer man, some little duck designs. I was just in the park and I saw some ducks and I wanted to make ducks cartoony. I think it would look like this on their head. Stretchy kind of ducks have like a very weird shape, don't they? That one's probably my favorite. It's funny. This is some like, I think there's a lot of hats that are going to end up kind of digital and glitchy. That's a type that Pokemon doesn't have, like stuff that is like reality bending in a digital way. I think there are, if I can think of one, I'll put it on screen. I think like the Ultra Beasts are a bit like that. But I want to make that not like a legendary thing, but just like a regular thing in Hatworld. So I really like this like big block character. I think this guy is called Gridlock. I've got him in the notes for the set 1 of the card game. Just this weird blocky, based on if anyone knows about Missing No from the original Pokemon games, it was like an error in the code where you could make the game run out of Pokemon to give you for a battle. So it would give you like the 152nd Pokemon, which doesn't exist, and it was called Missing No, like missing number. I'm not sure if I'm getting all those details right, but it's just like become this kind of cult, like little creepypasta like lore, like this idea of Missing No. In the playground when we were playing Pokemon, we would like be playing regular, like deciding what Pokemon we'd have, and I'd be like, oh, I want a Charizard, and then like the nerdy kid from the internet would be like, I'm gonna have Missing No, and then we were like, what's that? And he like taught us what it was. Idea for like a presence hat inspired by some like Disco Elysium stuff, that makes you completely present, and just I wanted to like think about what that means to be completely present. Would that make you like a super, like you don't have to think about past or future, you're just like there in the moment? Like would that affect your reflexes, or would it be a bit more philosophical than that? This page is kind of a mess. I had like a student ID and I made some like weird whaley hairy creature out of it, some more stickers. These hats are really cool. This spread is one of my faves. This one's crazy, like a tattoo. This might be like digital type as well, or maybe like ancient type. Some weird like freaky, this looks like something from like Fear and Hunger, some weird like box rectangle man, little weird comic of a hat going on. Yeah, some more stickers. I think I was like, I don't know what this was. This might have been for the card game. Fighting stances. You could be like a fighter, support, or like a performance. I really liked in Pokemon that they tried to make it that Pokemon wasn't just about fighting. Like there was, I can't remember what it was called, but Dawn did it in the anime instead of battling. She did like the performance side of it. And I think maybe in the card game there'll be stuff that doesn't fight. It just like looks cool, and you kind of customize your binder with like these cool looking like customization cards. I don't know about that. I don't know if people would like that. Here I just started this little comic. Yeah, with some stickers. I don't know what they're saying. I just drew the stuff and then I'll come up with it afterwards. Some more stuff about the crater. I think after that big battle I was talking about with all the bad geological effects, I think someone would put a big bubble around it to trap it in. And then I also had this other level of that where when you're in that bubble, time moves slower. So when you go in the bubble and come out, you've spent weeks in there, but it's really only been an hour. And then someone that has a radiation absorbing power goes in, and then within a week, they can absorb a year's worth of radiation because they've only been in there a week, and they come out way more, like their power level way above everyone else's, and that causes problems for the main character. People are using this pocket bubble of different time to like train and then come out and mess up the world outside. I really like this. I got some of these stickers from work and put them on this guy's head. Yeah, the bubble would be kind of like the character armor in X-Men, where it's just surrounding you, but then you can make it bigger. I think I've come up with a hat called Bubluff, which might be the one that uses that hat. It's like a little dog that's inside a bubble. That might be where the bubble powers come from. Not sure yet. The more logo ones, I like the spiky one. I ran out of room, so kind of the L and the D are really small and squished, but I quite like that. Some more just drawings. This is like a drawing one. When I decided to extend the amount of types there were, instead of just banana mill, crocodile, star, and washing machine, I decided to extend it out into like, so the way that the card game could work, there are different categories for each thing a hat could do. So there's like plastic, flying, pyromancer. There'd be a pyromancy type that's separate to like flame body type. So 2 different hats could use like pools of cards from different abilities based on what those hats have. Like if a hat is a pyromancer, it can use all the cards that have pyromancer like trait on it, if you get what I'm saying. Like things like dinosaur, mammal, so all mammals can do the same mammal cards, and just a way to reuse cards for the hats instead of having to do for every hat have abilities for that hat. I don't know if any of this is making sense. Cat hat might become the mascot. More on that maybe in another video. Some more drawings. Really like this drawing. I don't know what's going on there. Some kind of American football guy with a big spiky ball and some weird snake thing. Kind of One Piece, kind of Frankie-esque shoulder pads and head, like big shapes. I don't know what's going on there. I think I need to decide as well, can animals, like a regular, I don't think this is meant to be a regular animal. I think that's meant to be a hat. You can see here what this would look like on the person. But can animals wear hats, and what would that do? That's a question I've got to decide on. I think this is my favorite spread. Just some more like little Hatworld logos, some weird, that would definitely be a digital hat. This is, not all of these are canon. I'm not sure when the canon gets decided. Is every drawing of a hat I do in Hatworld, or is it only in the sets for the card game or the comic that are the real ones that exist? But this is one that's definitely going to be in set 1. I've made the effects and the card stats for this one. This is like some wizard hat that kind of judges and affects things. He's like an evil Gandalf. He's kind of like the sorting hat from Harry Potter. This, I just didn't have any notebook on me at the time. This is for some coding stuff for a digital card game I'm making. More on that in a later video. This is stuff for the card game. This is the some notes for the prototype 3. I'm not sure what out of these I ended up using, but I've been making so many different prototypes, but I think I finally landed on one that is close to what we will have for the first set of the card game. I'm currently making the stats for the set on a Google Drive. I'm going to print them out soon, and we're going to have more playtests. The next Hatworld video will probably be focused on that, I'm not sure. And the last page, we've got a hat here that was actually used for my music stuff. So that probably might not be in Hatworld. Got some more stuff here for, prototype 4. I think this is closer to what we ended up having. I really like simple card games, and I really like less text on the card. So I want kind of very clear iconography. And this is a hat I want to make physically. I don't know if this will probably not end up for Hatworld. It's just a hat, so it ended up being in this book. But I might just make this for fun of different shapes building up this crazy hat. But yeah, that's the first Hatworld sketchbook, and I can't wait to have the next one ready to share with you all. But yeah, let's get back into the video. You know when a piece of media kind of has a weird cohesion in design, like things are kind of mishmashed together, stuff like the Amazing World of Gumball, for example, or Spider-Verse, different art styles colliding. What if a piece of media took all the most egregious examples of this as inspiration and kind of did it on purpose to make something that's like a Frankenstein of genres and cultures and design styles? That's what I think I want Hatworld to be. I want it to be playful in its like look. I was watching YouTube and this clip kind of stood out to me.
Imagine that you asked every single edgy teenager in a high school to draw what they saw as the coolest, strangest or dumbest cosmetic override they could think of, and then you added all of them. That's how Terra is. Want to make your brawler gloves look like foam dinosaur heads? You can do that. Want to look like an ancient Chinese warrior princess? Yeah, that's in there. Or how about a SWAT team police officer? Or a schoolgirl? Or a waitress? Or a giant panda? They're all in there. How about wearing a cool flowing cape? Or a tiny backpack? Yeah, they're both for sale. And for your mount, you could have a giant fire-breathing dragon. Or a pig, which looks like a motorbike. Or how about an actual car?
I agree that this character creation model doesn't really work for this game, but what if we took this energy and extended it into how the whole world worked? People with shark arms, but they've got a car for a head, and they're from Atlantis, but also they're a spy from another country, and then they've also been sent from outer space to be a nuclear bomb. But then all of those things actually come together and make sense within that world. I get bored of things that are just sci-fi or just fantasy. I love things like Adventure Time or One Piece that have crazy things mixed together. Pirates being put together with robots and candy kingdoms and apocalypses. I think there's just so many reference points in Adventure Time, and its variety and weirdness and kind of strange spirituality is something that I'd love Hatworld to have at least a tiny semblance of. Adventure Time is about magic entering the world after an apocalypse, but I think Hatworld would be the magic entering our world now and how that would lead to a potential apocalypse. What if the crazy energy of candy kingdoms and robot ghost zombies and the crazy mishmash of concepts in Adventure Time appeared in city life for us in present day? What if magic invaded our normal mundane lives? I've also always loved shonen battle manga, and I want that to have an aspect of itself in Hatworld. Properties like Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter, Dragon Ball, where fighting isn't just about saving the day, it's also kind of a sport, an expression of the character. I want this feeling of battling villains and powering up to be present in the card game. When you build your Hatworld deck, I want you to feel like one of these heroes that have built themselves up and trained, ready to fight your opponent. Every time I've visited a tabletop store lately, all of the games in there kind of have this grimdark fantasy feel, and I think there is a place for that, but there isn't any variety. There's no games with colours. Me and my girlfriend thought Warhammer would be a really cool hobby, and we looked in the window of one of the game shops, and she was just disappointed by how little colour there was in the sets that are available. I really feel like there's something missing in the tabletop kind of nerdy hobby world. Everything kind of looks AI generated, metal album cover, dark, how to draw fantasy book from 1996 kind of vibes. I'm kind of bored of it. I just want to clarify, I don't think this aesthetic is the fault of the fans and the hobbyists that are part of this community. I think it's the official products that have this issue. I've seen some amazing kit bashes and some Warhammer projects that look absolutely amazing. For example, my friend Owen has this amazing little flag creature that he's made, and he's made all these individual weird flags. And I think the people with orc armies in Warhammer as well in particular just have these like amazing designs. And I really feel like there should be a war game that kind of embraces this. I want more color, more variety, and I want the official products to like play it less safe. Maybe them kind of being plain and having this one aesthetic means that breaking the rules is more fun. They put out these vanilla products, and us putting ourselves on top of it makes it more rebellious in itself. But I think like there should be some more products that kind of have their own world and their own lore that match this kind of hobbyist fun creativity too. The official stuff just feels too safe. I'm obsessed with worlds that have really tight rules and kind of patterns, but then they break these or have twists on them to kind of create these weird kind of surreal moments. How do I explain this? An example I could think of is in Ben 10. There's an episode where Ben wakes up in a universe where he doesn't have the watch, but Gwen does. And when she uses it, all of her aliens are the same, but they look different for her based on her designs. Her forearms is different, her grey matter is different. She has her own versions. There's another episode of Ben 10 where Ben gets a cold, and you see a few of his aliens have different variations and designs based on when they're cold. Heat Blast being Ice Blast is just the most genius piece of creativity I've ever seen in my life, still to this day. Pokemon also has this, because it has loads of patterns and rules as well. The fan art can be really creative, like twisting what types certain Pokemon are. If you don't know, every Pokemon has a type like fire, electric, water, but like changing a Pokemon's design based on what type they could be is just an example of one of like the creative ways Pokemon can be twisted. I want Hatworld to have this feeling. What would every hat look like if it had an infected version? And what would those infected versions look like when I reveal in a few years when there's ultimate versions of hats? What would their ultimate infected hats look like? And what will the ultimate infected hats look like on different characters? Do they change? So everything has all these variations and patterns and different rules. I just love that kind of thing. Hopefully I'm getting this idea across. These kind of rules and patterns also give way to personalization and customization and help the audience kind of insert themselves into these worlds. Harry Potter is a great example. I really don't like Harry Potter and I hate J.K. Rowling. Let's not get into that. But Harry Potter is a great example of having these little set patterns. There's different houses, there's different Patronuses, there's different wands. You have these clear categories to pick from to insert yourself into this world, and you have these different variations you can pick from. For me, this is Pokemon. This is when I'm playing in the playground, I have to pick what the 6 Pokemon in my team are. I need to pick what region I'm from. I need to pick what of the 3 starters I want to have. These choices and options just give way to such creative and immersive worlds. I want Hatworld to have this feeling, so I'm gonna have the hats that you select for your team be separate to your deck, kind of like they're a character sheet almost. They're not within the deck, they're there next to you. This is another thing that also helps you feel like you are in this world. You are one of these shonen battle characters. Along with anime influence, I also want to bring in some stuff from like Western comics, superhero stories. Obviously My Hero Academia jumps to mind, but I don't think My Hero Academia is what I want from a superhero story. I want like real life, mundane, normal routine being interrupted by the magic and the supernatural occurrences. I want it more Spidey level, you know, more street level. If there is a Hatworld story that's properly developed one day for the animation or like a comic, I want the main characters to be in really realistic scenarios in their life, and then all the Hatworld craziness contrasts that. The idea of like a shonen battle formula being mixed with like a Peter Parker story just makes me so excited, and it's crazy that this hasn't happened yet. When you play the card game, I really want it to feel like you are your character, you are your own little superhero. All of your hats are your favorite hats, and all of the like powers and abilities in your deck actually make sense in that universe and for your character. I think the Pokemon card game has always missed a trick with this. Why do I have multiple Charmanders in my deck when in the real like universe in the anime or the games you have one on your team? And why is there a bill card that makes you draw cards? Like, what does that mean? Things like that just have always bugged me, the Pokemon card game and a lot of others. There's a really good new card game online called The Bazaar, and I'm taking a lot of influence from that. It's the first character builder, and your kind of board is like your weapons and attachments and gear, and it kind of feels like everything in that game kind of makes sense in that world. I really want it to feel immersive, and it's like when you're playing the game with your friends, it's like you're entering the lobby or the city and you're playing the game as your character. I think that's why I gravitated to the card game having its own game board that you move around in. I really want it to feel like more of a video game, like immersive and like a simulation. I don't know. Anyway, that's all for this episode of Hatworld. I am loving developing this. It's just so wholesome. It brings me back to like everything I like really love, and it's just been so fun. Tell me down below if this has sparked any ideas for hats, and also tell me down below if you guys have ever connected with media in a similar way to what I'm saying with all of these categories. What kind of things have made you feel like this? I'd love to have a little discussion in the comments below. I'll be reading all the comments, and yeah, it'd be cool to get some more inspiration for Hatworld. What pieces of media do you think really have this immersion and depth? Anyway, yeah, as I said, like this video, share, subscribe. There will be more Hatworld content in the future. I love making this stuff, and I can't wait to share this world with everyone. I can't wait till the card game is playable. I can't wait till there's maybe a comic. It's growing. I don't completely know what this is yet. I feel like it's kind of a franchise, but also I don't really have the resources to make it a franchise. It's like a homemade kind of universe. It's like if I had to start Pokemon from the very beginning, what would I do? What would my Pokemon look like? But yeah, thank you all for watching. The first video did really well, so thank you all for watching that. Hope you enjoyed the sketchbook. Hope you enjoyed the ideas. Hope you enjoyed the animations. I added some more, if you noticed. I'm trying to build that kind of animated intro segment up for Hatworld, so we have something to use when the whole thing becomes a bit more official, this great little animated Hatworld trailer. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. I'll see you in the Hatworld.